friends, it's me, Amy Rebecca, your internet bestie for all things personal development, intentional living and dream chasing, and I'm back with another monthly budgeting update video for you guys. I think we're all just out here trying our best. It's a cost of living crisis. There is definitely a squeeze on finances for most of us, and at the same time, when we look at social media and we see these lives that other people are presenting online, it can sometimes feel like everyone else is doing so much better than us. Like, how does this girl have like 5 Chanel handbags? How is this person picking up this brand new car? And that is why I make these videos as just a very average girl who's working on and trying to and figuring out how to bring in a little bit of extra income every month and also budget and save as much as she can, because I'm not a millionaire. I'm just an average person, and I like being able to share that in a really transparent way and show you guys the numbers and break it down, because maybe that'll inspire you to start budgeting or recording your finances. Maybe that'll inspire you to start making investments, or maybe it'll just make you feel better knowing you're not the only one who's like pinching the pennies at the moment. First, we caffeinate, and then we're going to delve in and have a little look at what I spent in February. Okay, so as per always, I'm using my Core Plenty budgeting spreadsheet. This one is the 3.0 version. I used to use the 2.0, but I treated myself to a new one in the new year. I am an affiliate now, so I'll leave a little link in the description box if you want to start budgeting and you want it to look really aesthetic like this, and you don't want to build your own spreadsheet because that can be a bit of a headache, then I recommend these. They're great. So I am pleased to announce that I did come in under budget in February, which I'm really pleased about. This first quarter of the year is just financially quite challenging for me. I have a pageant this month. Pageants are wildly expensive, and the biggest portion of all of my spending for that has been kind of January, February, and it will be this month as well. So the fact that I've been able to come in under budget in January and February, taking into account how freaking much money I am bleeding constantly on what feels like a daily basis towards this pageant, I feel thrilled about that. So £60 and 49 pence under budget. We love to see it. But let's take a look at my expenses and what I actually spent in the month of February. So groceries, you know I have to say it every single time, because anytime I don't say this, someone's in the comments like, well, actually, this is not the whole of my grocery budget for the month. I live with my parents right now, which is why my rent is also so low. And we will typically shop and make meals as a family, and my contribution to that comes out of my rent, just like my electricity, you know? So when I say groceries, I mean any top-up groceries that I go and get for myself throughout the week, call into the supermarket on the way home from work, that kind of thing. So I budgeted £20 for the month, and I only ended up spending £8.30, which is great. For eating out, not so great. I budgeted £30 and ended up spending £58.12, and I'll tell you, a lot of that, well, not a lot of that, a portion of that was just eating out lunch at work. And I know what you're gonna say, just take a lunch for free. I did, I had lunch in my bag. Problem is, I take a healthy lunch, and then I know that there is chocolate I can go and buy instead. Anyway, petrol, £50, car maintenance, which is my car insurance, was £24.99. Gifts, I cash stuffed 30, and I actually spent quite a bit of money on gifts this month as well. Health, I cash stuffed £35 for my contact lenses, and then spent more money on what? Let's take a look. One thing about me is that I do not have a good memory. Oh, the dentist. Yeah, that's unfortunate because no one wants to go to the dentist, but you have to, and then they charge you even though you didn't want to go. Okay, beauty treatments, 50. I didn't spend all of that. I spent £30 on my nails. I know what you're thinking. Let's not talk about it. I keep saying I'm gonna have them taken off. I haven't. It's a whole mental battle that I'm having on a monthly basis. Leave me alone. I'm fighting it. Anyway, yeah, spent £30 on my nails and then cash stuffed the rest. Clothing, budgeted 0 and spent 0. Makeup, budgeted 15 and spent 14.68. Look at me go, that's really close. Skincare, budgeted 30 for that serum I keep saying I'm gonna buy and just never do. To be fair, I could have bought it last month. I had enough money left over. I could have bought it this month. I had enough money left over. but I guess it's just not that much of a priority for me right now, knowing I have the pageant coming up, because I don't want to leave myself short. I don't want to have to start moving money around out of my savings, because I did that last year when I went to Vegas, and we all know how that turned out. Not great. So maybe once the pageant is said and done, I will treat myself to that face serum. Finally. Hair care, I budgeted £9 and spent £7.50 on a shampoo bar from Lush. Toiletries, I budgeted £10 and I didn't spend any. Books, budgeted £0 and spent £0. Takeaways, budgeted £0 and spent £5.79 on a Subway, and it was disappointing. You know when you treat yourself to something nice and then when you get it, it's just not as good as you thought it was going to be? How disappointing is that? That's what my Subway was. Oh, here we go. Here is where it all comes tumbling down. Hobbies, I budgeted £650 and actually spent £700 and 29 pence. And yes, the majority, like the vast majority of that was pageant stuff. In that also came my gym membership and the craft club that I've just joined, my dance class that I just joined again this month as well. So it wasn't all pageant related, but it was heavily pageant related. Out of that, I did coaching with my coach in person and online, as well as buying my evening wear dress, which was kind of pricey. However, I will say I have saved an absolute fortune, and I don't use that word lightly, but I've saved so much money on this year's pageant wardrobe. And if you're a channel member, I just uploaded a video where I broke down everything that I spent and how I saved money on all of it, and I'm very pleased with my savings. So yeah, £700 is a lot of money, but trust me when I tell you it could be infinitely worse. Okay, charity, I budgeted £20 and spent £17.50. Transport, I budgeted £7 and spent £2.30. Trips, budgeted £0 and spent £0. Social, budgeted £70 and spent £81.73. So that's not too much of a difference there. Oh, but a little bit of a difference here. Budgeted £15 for drinks and spent £40.90. I am agog, I am aghast. I did not realise I spent quite that much on wine this month. You know what it is? I've started going to a weekly pub quiz, which is great. Such a fun thing to do on a Wednesday evening. Get out of the house, like hang out with some friends. Inevitably, I will get a glass of wine, whereas usually I would not be drinking a glass of wine on a Wednesday night. Do you know what I mean? So I have said to myself that I'm gonna cut out the Wednesday night glass of wine. It's not serving me. Doesn't make it easy to get up on Thursday morning and go to the gym, I'll tell you that. And it is hurting my bank balance too. Coffee, budgeted £7 and didn't spend anything. Didn't buy myself a coffee all month. Should we be concerned? Should we be reporting that to someone? Very unusual behaviour. Personal development, budgeted £25 but didn't spend any. Phone, again, I need to remove this from my new spreadsheet because I've put phone in with subscriptions this year and I just haven't got around to taking this out. So subscriptions, budgeted £27 and spent, yeah, £26.99. And then miscellaneous, budgeted £10 and spent £15. So yeah, when all is said and done, I came in about £50 over what I had budgeted, which is fine because when I'm budgeting all of this out, I usually like to give myself some wiggle room so that I can go over, and that worked perfectly because I still had £60.49 left over at the end of the month. Thrilled! However, in 2025, my goal is to put every single penny of my money to good use. Every single penny's got a job, every single penny has got a place to be. So we're going to take that £60.49 and we're not just going to let it sit. We are going to put it into one of my sinking funds. And of course, since this month is pageant month, it's got to go into the pageant sinking fund. So how much did I say that was? £60.49. Left over, and we'll put it into the pageant sinking fund, which should now take my leftover down to £0. Now we're going to create my budget for March. I already went in and added in a few numbers because as is well documented, I often get a little bit frazzled when I'm filling in my spreadsheet and talking through it at the same time. I'm just not a good multitasker, and the numbers start doing weird things. So I thought I'd get ahead of the game and start putting in the numbers that I already know to make things a little bit easier. So in terms of income for March, I have the salary from my part-time job, which is £1,194. I had £45.43 of side hustle money land in my account in January, so we're bringing that in. And very exciting news for me last month, because a little over a year ago I put my house deposit savings into a new savings account with a better interest rate, and that came to fruition last month, and I got my interest paid out, and that was £938. Love that for me. Let this be your sign. If you have savings, no matter how big, no matter how small, what is your interest rate? Shop around. If you can get a better interest rate, switch. Your money should be working for you, okay? Okay, so that brings my total income for the month to £2,177.43, because again, this month I'm not going to be drawing any money out of my business account. I'm still letting that sit until the tax year is over, just in case. So I also have gone in and filled in my regular expenses. So my £200 in rent, my £140 that I'm paying off the debt that I accrued by going to Vegas last year, £100 that I'm investing in my Vanguard mutual fund. And then we have my regular kind of subscriptions and cash stuffing. So Spotify, Born Free, which is a charity I donate to, the gym. I've got my contact lens cash stuff for health, my car insurance, and then we've got, oh, I've got health twice in here. This is why it's really important to look at what you're doing, because sometimes what you're doing is wrong. Most of the time what I'm doing is wrong, is what I've learned. So we have the £35 for my contact lenses, £30 for gifts, £50 for beauty treatments, £50 for car maintenance, £50 for petrol, £20 for my Christmas sinking fund, £15 for my phone, £15 for charity cash stuff, and oh, this is something that I had on my credit card that I need to pay off, £12.97 for going to a pageant expo. Yeah. Now, even though I have this extra £930 in my account this month, I'm not then going to go run off and spend it all. I'm still keeping my budget to the same strict £750, and that £938 is going off to do a very specific job. I'm going to put that into my holiday sinking fund, because I have a destination wedding coming up that I'm attending, and Lord knows that is expensive, and I need every penny I can get for that. And this £45.43 is going into a sinking fund as well, and that will be, you guessed it, the pageant sinking fund. What did I say? £45.43? Is that right? Going into the pageant sinking fund. Great. Now all that's left to do here is map out my expenses for the month. So groceries, I think I will stick with a £20 budget again, because that seems right to me. Eating out, I will be having to eat out a couple of times when I go away at the end of the month for the pageant. So let's say, do you know what? I'm going to put in 120. I'm going to do it. That's a lot, but okay. Petrol is going to be 50 as per usual. Car maintenance, I'm going to pay £25 for my car insurance. I'm going to cash stuff 30 for gifts. I'm going to cash stuff 35 for my contact lenses. I'm going to cash stuff 50 for beauty treatments, and hopefully that should be enough. Let's pause. In March, I'm going to need to get nails, hair and spray tan for the pageant. Hair and nails will come to about 70, spray tan. Yes, I will have enough in my sinking fund to cover all of that, so I don't have to put any extra in. Clothing, 0. Makeup, I'm going to need new foundation. I'm going to need new false eyelashes, and I'm going to need new eyebrow pencil. Let's put 25 to be safe. Skincare, I'm not even going to pretend I'm going to buy that serum this month. So we're going to put 0. Hair care, I don't think there's anything I need in terms of hair care this month that I can think of. Toiletries, don't think there's anything I need. Books, no. Takeaways, no. Hobbies, this is where it all falls apart. So I've already spent that £32.96 on the Pageant Expo. I'm going to bring in my bestie, the calculator. So if we have 33 for that plus, you hear that? Oh, they're starting to tear up the road. That's great I love that for us. Okay, £33 for the Pageant Expo ticket. I've got £110 for walking training. I've got £45 to pay for my fashion wear. I've got another £35 to pay for interview training. I've got £185, I believe, for my hotel for the pageant. And then also, I feel like we're going to throw another £10 on top just for fun. So that's £418. That is not going to fit within my budget. So do you know what I think I'll do? Rather than trying to stretch myself too thin and having to take money out of savings and all of that jazz, I think I'll put the hotel on my credit card and pay for that in April. And the only reason I'm going to do that, I'm not a huge advocate for like throwing anything on your credit card, is just so that I can spread the cost of the pageant over 2 months. I know that I will be able to make that work in April. It just gives me the breathing room to be able to make it work within my budget without having to pull money out of savings and move it all around and make it complicated. So let's take the 180 off of that. That's still 238, good lord. Good lord, it never ends. The charity, we've got £17.50. Transport, I'm gonna put 5 in case I need to pay for parking. Trips, I'm gonna put 0. Social, we're gonna have to be very mindful because I already see this is coming close to my budget for the month. £40. And that takes me to the entirety of my budget. Great. Okay, well, let's just plow on and see what happens. So let's see if these numbers just magically come together. I'm gonna spend 0 on drinks. I'm going to allow myself a coffee. 0 for personal development, 0 for phone, 27 for subscriptions, and 0 for miscellaneous. Good freaking grief. £689.50. So I already calculated this and wrote it down for myself ahead of time because this is usually where I start to get confused. So when I take into account my entire budget, which is £750, I take out all of the direct debits and subscriptions, all of the cash stuffing, and then I add in the £45.43 that I made through side hustles. That means that my budget that I have left to take out of here should be £650.96. I believe that is true. I believe that is right. So I am actually going to be about £38 over budget if all of this comes to pass. So that might mean having to cut something somewhere. What can I cut? It can't be the coffee, not a second month in a row. What if I cut down on being social? Cut that down to 30. And if I cut down eating out to 100, that will still make me like £9 over. So let's not buy any food. £10? It's gonna be tight, is what I'm seeing and feeling and hearing and sensing in my soul. It's gonna be tight. Last month it was a lot easier to make the pageant stuff work because I had a really good month in terms of side hustle income. Let me just look back. I had £540 of side hustle income, whereas this month it was like 45. It was actually my worst side hustle month in terms of earnings since I started side hustling last year. But you know what? I still think it's possible to stay under budget. I think it's fine. Sometimes I lay awake at night and think about how much easier it's going to be to budget once this pageant is over. Not that I'm going to be a millionaire overnight or anything, but it's certainly going to feel like I am. Okay, the last thing that we're going to do is take a look at my not so wonderful side hustle income, like I said, but I like to share the highs and I like to share the lows. Okay, so this is the amount of money that I actually earned in February. It is not the same as the amount of money that actually landed in my account in February, because with a lot of these things, there's, you know, you have to wait 10 days, maybe 15 days, maybe sometimes a month for the money to actually land in your account. That's why the amount that I earn and the amount that I show on my spreadsheet in terms of like my budget, there's a discrepancy there. That's why. So UGC, no prizes if you guessed. I still have earned £0. I should just take that out at this point. Affiliate links, I made £12.63. KDP, which is selling my book, I made £10.17. Digital products, I made £25.40. Did I not sit here last month and say digital products is my favorite because it's my most consistent form of income? And then as the words came out of my mouth, I was like, oh, no, I bet I've jinxed it. And I did, because £25 is not a good month for me in terms of digital products. I mean, it's better than nothing and it is passive income, so I'm never going to complain, but I knew I was jinxing it. I just knew. Etsy, I have a minus on here. I am minus £12.07 because I did sell a product and I had to pay for the manufacturing of that up front, and I'm not actually getting paid by Etsy until this month. TikTok shop, 0. Vinted reselling, 0. Teaching resources, a mind-blowing £3.80. And I got some money through cashback in February as well. I used the top cashback site. It's really easy, it's free. It sounds like a scam, but it's not. I've been doing it for years, and I think there is some really good money to be made just based on how much you online shop. I don't shop a lot, so I'm not really getting like the full extent of how much money there is to be made. Essentially, you go on to top cashback. I'll leave a refer a friend link in the description box, because if I remember rightly, if you use that link, you get like bonus money. Basically, whenever you're going to buy something online, instead of going to like newlook.com or boots.com, you go to top cashback, you type in the shop and you see if they have any cashback deals on. Consistently, I get my cash back through Domino's. That's pretty much the only place I get my cash back, because I don't do online shopping very often. But there's loads of places. You can do it for travel, you can do it for bills. Like, you go in, and if you access the shop's website via top cashback, then they'll track how much you spend and they'll give you money back in your account. And I know it sounds too good to be true. It sounds like a scam. I've been doing it for 10 years. I just had another payout of £20.19. And like I said, I think I only ever use it on Domino's exclusively. So I recommend that if you haven't tried that yet. It's a really easy way to just get some money back. That brings my grand total to £60.12, which is actually my worst side hustle month since I started. Hey, it's fine. One month has to be your worst month. It may as well be February. Anyway, I think we made it through a whole budgeting video today without any messed up numbers or anything going completely awry, so I'm thrilled about that. If you did notice something, don't tell me, just let me have this. Please remember that you are enough just as you are. I love you so much, and I will see you soon. Bye guys!